Ignore that line. That's the line that they left after they were done cutting. If that line confuses you, turn it to the side that doesn't have a line and measure 10 inches. You want to draw that across. When you draw it across, you could get it straight with the ruler. For sure you'll get it straight with the tri-square. How the tri-square works is you want to put this up against the edge of your wood. Line up that line, draw it across. You want to draw your 3 lines before you clamp. Once you get that, you're going to measure how much on each side of that wood. Perfect. Easiest way to measure it is pick a number. I'll pick 7. Then measure a 1/2 inch. Once you have the 3 lines drawn, you want to clamp it to the table. You don't want to clamp it so it's too far out, or you don't want to clamp it when it is over the table. You want to have it about that far out. You want to put a piece of scrap wood down first, and then use the clamp. Slide it down, turn this to the right. This is not enough to clamp it to the table because one end is still loose, so you need to have one person sit on the table on the piece of wood. When you cut, you want to cut not flat, not straight up and down, at about a 45-degree angle. When you cut, you first want to start to get a small groove. Once you get a groove, then you're going to start cutting. When you cut, you want both hands on the handle. Whatever hand you are is inside, the other one is on top. You do not want to have one hand here. If you do and you're sawing and you don't get on the line and pull it across your hand, it hurts. So make sure both hands are up here. When you're sawing, if you saw with both of your feet together, you're not going to be very balanced. So have one foot in front of the other. This cuts on the downstroke. Try to use as many teeth as you can. If you use just a couple, it's going to take an awful long time to cut. So push down, don't do any pushing, just pull. You're trying to cut right on the pencil line. If you go off the line a little bit, that's fine as long as you stay in between those 2 lines. If you go way off, then you'll stand on the other side and try again from that side. Nice, long strokes. How this is going to be hard is if you're not standing straight in front. If you're standing and your saw's at an angle, you're going to hear noises like this and it's not going to be able to cut. So make sure that this is straight up and down, not at an angle, and make sure when you're cutting, you're not over here. Because look at, the saw wants to go straight, but you're standing at an angle and it's very hard to cut. So stand straight in front and cut. Stop doing long cuts when you get to the end of the wood. You want to do short little cuts. The person over here is just holding it. If he brings it up or pushes it down, it's going to break the wood off. We want to cut it off, not break it off. So the last couple cuts you want to do, short little cuts. Doesn't matter what this looks like as long as you still see the pencil line. That means you stayed in between the lines. After you have cut this piece, you want to make sure that your name is on both edges before you get it graded. This is going to be cut into 2 pieces. So I want your name in 2 places. Make sure that you don't go on to step 2 before you get step 1 graded. If 1 is graded, you can do this step. The next step is you want to transfer this pattern onto your wood. First thing is, it says you want to put arrow against the edge of your wood. There's no arrow here, so you want to put an arrow and have it touch the edge of your paper. Then you're going to flip it over. It says scribble all over pattern, don't forget X. You can kind of see where the pattern is, so you want to scribble it nice and dark. If you don't do it dark enough, it's not going to transfer to your wood. Darker and thicker, the easier it is to transfer. If you're not sure if it's thick enough, ask Coon. The X is where you're going to drill a hole. Make sure you do the X right here. Then now it is ready to transfer to your wood. How you do that, it says you want to put the arrow against the edge of your wood. Carefully trace over this side. You do not want to scribble on this side. If you scribble, it'll be a mess when you put up your paper. If you did the scribbling dark enough on the other side, then this pencil will transfer to your project. If it's a little light, darken it in. You want 2 of these. So you're going to flip your wood over, put the arrow against the edge of the wood, trace again. Once you have done the tracing, this is a grade you want to come see me and get it graded. So darken in any lines that didn't transfer, then get this graded.